Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Anthony James. Glad to be here with all of you guys here today. Happy Halloween Eve for those who celebrate this great holiday. In my opinion, it's one of the greatest holidays of all time. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that opinion, but that's perfectly fine. Not everyone has good taste. I'm only joking. But with that being said, let's get on with today's episode, shall we? Okay, so yesterday, which was the 29th of October, it was brought to my attention that GTA Vice City was celebrating its 21st anniversary, which was amazing to me because I had no idea the anniversary was even close to coming up. I have a lot of great memories with this game and the GTA franchise in general. I think the GTA games was probably my first real introduction to video games at the time. Like, I remember my brother, he would come down on the weekends and he would have his rucksack with him, and he would have his PS2 with him, and then he would have a couple of games with him as well, which was really fun. So we would spend like most of the evening playing video games, which was, you know, a hell of a way to spend your weekend as a kid. And I think, you know, it's safe to say that GTA Vice City is probably one of my favourite video games of all time, and also one of my favourites in the GTA franchise. Now, I know a lot of people will look at me weird when I say that. It's one of my favourites in the franchise, even though it's just my opinion, but, you know, some people can't handle that. I have nothing against, like, the newer, you know, like, I have nothing against GTA 5. Fantastic game, love that game to bits. I enjoyed the story, and I enjoyed playing the online mode of it for a while. So I have nothing against GTA 5. But for me, as a late 90s kid who grew up playing the older generation of the GTA games, like PS1 era, PS2 era GTA games, those were my cup of tea, and those remain with me to this day. You know, I always think about these games. I always have fun memories with these games. Like, even though they are outdated, the graphics are really old, the facial models are really old, it still has a lot of great ups for me, if that makes sense. So, for example, I love the fictional setting of Vice City. I love that setting. A lot of fun, great to explore. You know, there was not much to do, but it was fun to, you know, drive around and explore. I loved a lot of the story missions. I liked a lot of the side missions. Even though the side missions were kind of random, like the side activities. You had, like, police missions you could do. You had ambulance missions you could do. You had pizza delivery missions you could do, which was really random, but it is what it is. You had collectibles you could go and find. Right way before finding collectibles was even a popular thing among gamers, but, you know, it shows you how much these games were ahead of its time in some ways, in small little ways, but in ways nonetheless. I love the music from this game, like a lot of the 80s music. A lot of the music I hear from this game, I still listen to today. Like, I can't remember a lot of the songs on the top of my head, but, like, I love that. I love the non-playable characters because they had their own unique personality, which was often weird, but often quite funny at the same time because you never knew what kind of interaction you're going to get with some of these non-playable characters. I enjoyed the violence. Like, the violence was insane. That's probably why I loved these games so much as a kid. The violence was just incredible. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before in my life. You know, movies, TV, none of that compared to what I had seen in the GTA game. I know that was quite a controversial thing back in the day because, you know, many kids were going to see these games and be like, wow, I want to play this game. Even though it was a rated 18 game, I want to play this game. And a lot of parents were like, nope, you're not getting this game. No way in hell are you getting this game. But one of the things I also want to talk about with GTA Vice City is a lot of the voice actors in this game. Like, a lot of famous names were in this game, which was quite surprising to me looking back now. You know, as a kid, I didn't know who any of these people were. But now, you know, I'm a lot older, and I've looked back at some of the people who were in these games. My mind's completely blown in terms of who actually took part in this game. So let's have a look at some of the names that were included. So first of all, we have the late great Ray Liotta, who played the main protagonist, Tony Vercetti. Goodfellas and Saints of Newark actor Ray Liotta played the lead role of Tony Vercetti in GTA Vice City. Vercetti was the first fully voiced protagonist in the series because the previous games did not actually have a voice protagonist for some weird reason. Which was kind of unique at the same time because we got a protagonist which we can't really relate to, we can't really get to know because he doesn't talk. It was a weird time, but it was also interesting at the same time. Interesting choice that he had for GTA 3 and also the previous GTA games as well. So Ray Liotta he played Tony Vercetti, the very first voice protagonist in the series, and Liotta delivered an incredible, memorable performance that later held him some awards and kept him in the minds of fans for many years, which is, I just phrased that, but yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal in that game. That was my first introduction to him as an actor through that game, and I look back and think, wow, this guy was so fun. He was so fun, and he was so cool at the same time. Even the character of Tony Vercetti, he was just fun, cool, and a badass, which was really fun to play. According to the book, Jacked, the outlaw story of Grand Theft Auto, Liotta reportedly felt frustrated with the limitations of voice acting when working on the game, and had a bit of an attitude in the recording booth. To make matters a bit worse, Liotta was allegedly upset with his pay after seeing how much of a success the game was. Issues with appropriate compensation would continue for years between Rockstar and other actors, but have since fallen out of the conversation with the developers' more recent games. Not much is known about what happened to Tommy after Vice City, but it's likely fans won't find out since Rockstar has since stated that the PS2 era games are in a different universe from games like GTA 4 and GTA 5. Some fans believe that Rockstar also brought Vercetti and Liotta back after seeing the first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 5, as one of the game's protagonists, Michael, looks and sounds similar to Liotta. Now, I never knew that the previous, the PS2 era games were in a different universe to the newer games, which I guess makes sense in some ways because you don't really hear any references or any sort of nods to previous events in the games. So I guess it kind of makes sense as to them being in a completely different universe compared to the newer GTA games. I mean, with GTA 4, we had one of these characters appear in GTA 5 as a quick cameo, but nonetheless he appeared in the game. So which makes sense that this is a connected universe now, whereas the other games did not actually feel that way. Another fantastic actor, another late great actor as well, unfortunately, Burt Reynolds. And imagine some of the names that you got for this video game. Just an incredible amount of talent in this game. So he plays Avery, if that's how you pronounce his name, Carleton in GTA Vice City. Legendary actor Burt Reynolds played Avery Carleton, a shady real estate mogul who hires Vercetti for some dirty jobs. Their characters referenced in San Andreas and even returned in GTA Liberty Stories, which are like little spin-offs from the main GTA games, where the player is tasked with killing him, but Reynolds never returned to the part. Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser practically attributes Rockstar's avoidance of celebrities to Reynolds, noting his bad experience with the Boogie Nights actor in an interview with Vulture. You gotta look at who you're getting for some of these roles. Like, these actors are not gonna come cheap. They're not gonna be the most nicest people to work with, probably at times. They're not the most easiest people to work with at times as well. So you gotta really think about who you're getting for these games in terms of voice actors and what to expect from these actors as well, because these were big names at the time. So according to Jacked, again, the outlaw story of Grand Theft Auto, Houser almost cut Reynolds out of GTA Vice City as well as sort of on-set fights between Rockstar and the actor. Reynolds eventually went on to play himself in Saints Row the Third. Another great name, Danny Trejo, who played Umberto Barberina in GTA Vice City. Machete and Breaking Bad star Danny Trejo played Umberto Barberina in Vice City, the leader of the Los Carbonos street gang. Barberina seeks Vassetti's help in various criminal ventures, such as taking on a Hayton drug ring. Ultimately, Vassetti earns the respect of Barberina and his gang after causing chaos around the city. He's gone on to star in other video games such as Far Cry 6, Call of Duty, or Fallout New Vegas. To Tony Vassetti, the character of Tony Vassetti, for not being manly and like, even saying he hasn't got cojones. He's more like a female because he hasn't got any cojones. And I love that sort of thing. I love the banter about this guy. He's obsessed with making jokes about this guy's gender. Or not this gender as such, but making jokes about this guy not having balls or whatever. He was a fun actor to be in a part of this game. I'm glad he's gone on to have other success in video games as well. I'm glad that there's not much to say about him in terms of a bad negative experience. Now this guy, however, that's a different story altogether. So I don't know much about Gary Busey. I've seen him in a couple of things. The most recent thing I remember seeing him on was like a couple of years ago. He was on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. And oh my god, this guy was off his rocker. He even went on to win the show, which was the most surprising part about it. Like, I didn't know much about him. I know some of the films he had been in at the time, but like I had no idea that he came across so crazy. He had like a motorcycle accident which caused some damage to his brain or something like that, and that caused him to be a bit quite loopy. But Gary Busey played Phil Cassidy in GTA Vice City. Lethal Weapon and the Buddy Holly story actor, Gary Busey played Phil Cassidy in Vice City, a gun-loving wannabe veteran that had been played by a different actor in GTA 3. I'm learning new things all the time, I swear to God. Cassidy is often seen supporting a Confederate flag shirt, which had been removed for the newer GTA trilogy, the remastered trilogy, which we don't talk about. The character is recruited by Tommy for a bank heist to help, leading to a long-term partnership where Cassidy supplies Tommy with weapons. Unfortunately, a drunken Cassidy eventually ends up blowing his own arm off with a homemade bomb, but Tommy manages to save him from dying by rushing into an ex-army surgeon. Busey infused the character with a very uneven yet comedic off-wall behaviour in its portrayal. So kind of like real life then, basically. And last but not least, William Fincher, who played Ken Rosenberg in GTA Vice City. He was one of the worst lawyers I've ever seen in my life. And he probably even admits that himself in the game. Like, he was a really bad lawyer. And how Tony Bassetti even has him as a lawyer is a question within itself, because it makes no sense. Like, what the hell is a smart individual like Tommy doing with an idiot like this guy? Like, this guy's paranoid, he's insane, he thinks everybody's out to get him, and he's just a crazy ambulance chasing lawyer. So what the hell does Tommy need from this guy, in a sense? Like, what good can he do for Tommy in terms of his character and getting him out of trouble and whatnot? But nonetheless, I love that character. He's one of my favourite side characters in the GTA games, and William Fincher played him really well. He's also a kind of an underrated actor as well, in my opinion. Like, William Fletcher, he starred in Heat, The Dark Knight, Armageddon, Prison Break. He played a lot of good roles. Like, he's always played like more of like a side character, like a more supporting role than a lead role. But a great actor nonetheless, and another great name to add for this game, in my opinion. So, to clear up any questions some people might have, Ken Rosenberg is still alive at Vice City, and Fincher even went on to reprise his role in a prequel film to San Andreas, which theories have suggested he could return in GTA 6. Fans will get to experience his character his character arc in Vice City once again, thanks to the GTA trilogy, the Definitive Edition. But overall, I had a really great time with these games. They forever hold a special place in my heart. Lots of fun memories. I've tried to introduce, some of the younger family members, like my nephews and whatnot, with these games. Some of them have enjoyed them. Some of them I could do without it. But of course, it's what you expect, because they're used to video games being a higher standard these days in terms of graphics, in terms of facial models, in terms of story structure and whatnot. But for me, those were my heart and soul in terms of video games. They always kept me entertained. I loved every single minute of playing these games. I usually would sometimes go back once a year or something like that and play these games, the older editions, even though they're very glitchy. But nonetheless, fantastic fun, great memories. I would never trade those games in for anything in my life. If it wasn't for those games, I probably would have never played video games. I'm not trying to sound dramatic or anything like that. But and even if it wasn't for my brother introducing me to video games, I probably would have never had played video games at the time, or even to this day. That would have never turned me into a massive gamer that I am today. So I owe a lot to the GTA trilogy, the original GTA trilogy. I owe a lot to my brother for introducing me to these games and other games as well, for that matter, that I had no business playing at that time. But I have no regrets, and I'm sure many of you don't have any regrets when it comes to these games. I would like to know your thoughts on this. What are your favourite GTA trilogy games? Are you a fan of GTA 3, not San Andreas, Vice City, and then San Andreas? Do you prefer one or the other? Who's your favourite protagonist of all time in the GTA games? Are you excited for the next generation of GTA games to come, like GTA 6 for example? Let me know your thoughts. But with that being said, thank you all for listening to this episode. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.